Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am PANCZASU and look at my beautiful empire here in Endless Legend. It's sprawling to the farthest of lands and I have the ultimate control of most of the area around me, which is fairly decent considering that I'm also at war with pretty much every major power in this game right now. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but it's not a very big deal. I should be able to just conquer everybody from this position. 5 cities, as opposed to anybody's, what? 2 cities? I guess that those broken lords have 2. Those waters obviously only have 1. Those broken lords might have 2. The only threat right now for me are the Necrophages. If they have 4 cities, which they might, then they are kind of threatening. If they only have 3, then it's then less so, but still, I have respect for those guys. They have proven to be powerful adversaries in the past, and I can see some roaming armies that are probably also fairly powerful in their own right as well. So I wouldn't underestimate them just yet. I wouldn't count them out. You never know, they might be fairly scary. Anyway, do I actually want this guy back in production? No, I do not. Anyway, a new empire plan is ready for me to start working on, and obviously I'll continue going for science, since there is pretty much no real reason not to go for science in my eyes. I mean, with other factions there might be, but for Wild Walkers I do not have too much use for cheaper buyout costs. Then again, being able to buy out units for cheap could be... It could be decent, I'm not gonna lie. I think this would benefit me quite a bit considering how much money I'm spending on war effort. But my armies are already considerably big. I mean, there's one major army down south. I've got quite a few units scattered around the north defending it. Tuldra could use some more reinforcements, that's true. But he now has a Tenai Walker because I just bought him out. So that's fine. So I'm not too sure. Maybe actually, do I really need this tech? I mean, I kind of want to show you guys Era 3 before I win the game, which will happen at some point. Then again, hey, no, I don't want to click you. I would probably be able to get to Era 3 if I maintain my science production. So I think I'm actually going to maintain the science production. Now, something else that I thought about a little bit is the fact that I might actually just go ahead and use up the Dust Orchid. It will cost me and a lot of this Dust Orchid in order to use this boost, or I will need to use 30 out of the 40 I have. So it's pretty much a one-time boost the way I see it right now. But I think that the effects are worth it, and they would really allow me to accelerate the process of my awesomeness rising by quite a bit, and also they would provide me with extra bonus science as well. So I'm tempted to go for just that. It's also, it would synergize with my Dust Water booster. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna go for it. Why not? I'm taking a bit of a risk, and obviously this booster would work better in late game if I had to save it until I have more cities, but I'm willing to spend it now. Yeah, I'm willing to spend it right now, so that I can steamroll over my enemies a little bit faster. And also, I think I do not need... Oops. I think I just accidentally moved all my units into this army. Oh well, no big deal. I am just going to move slightly more slowly towards the enemy right there. As I said, it's not really a big deal. And this unit can only have one more ranger in it. So I will leave this ranger in production because I'll need somebody to defend this city. And that actual Tenai Walker is better for this job. But before I make a Tenai Walker, I'll probably want to make another Borough Street. Now, where do I want to do this? I have 2 options the way I see it. I can either make a Borough Street right here, so to give me even more food production and also access to a river, which I will be able to improve later down the line. Or alternatively, I can start making my way towards north areas, or rather northwest areas, to gain access to this forest right there, which would be decent as well. Honestly, there aren't too many choices for me to go at this point, so I can either go for immediate boost of food, but not much after that. I can go over here for also a fairly decent amount of food and also access to forest in the future. So let's do just that, I think, and move the Tenai Walker a little bit further back in terms of my production line and end this then. This video will probably not be 45 minutes long or something. I'll probably keep it down to 40 or something because, not sure if I mentioned this, but it is 1 AM. I'm fairly tired. It has been a long day, and I wasn't able to record in the midday when I was planning to record it before, so I'm having to record it right now. But as a result, I'm slightly more tired than I would otherwise want to be. Also, yet another army spawned. As you can see, this quest apparently keeps refreshing itself. I'm not sure if that's because I keep failing it, which is possible. It's possible that every time I'm about to win it, somebody enters this area. But I think what is most likely is just it's bugged as a result of me patching the game or something. Usually I've been able to go past this quest no problem. Right now it seems to just endlessly repeat itself. Which is okay. Keep in mind alpha is alpha, and it's the first time I've seen this particular issue. So it's obviously something very obscure and unlikely to happen. Either way, a battle has commenced, and I don't really know why those guys even attacked me, because those wildlings stand no chance against my army. Sure, I only have one ranger, which is a little bit of a bummer, but between this ranger and the fact that I have got 2 Tenai walkers, I see no way for me to lose this fight, or even for it to be remotely close. So this is going to most assuredly and likely be just an absolute bloodbath, and I'll enjoy it and laugh maniacally as the enemy units are just being killed and massacred by my units. Anyway, I'll probably want to focus fire on the forward units and make sure that I do not get in the low ground position, and it looks like the enemy will actually have to go towards me. Now this setter could be smart, it could walk over here and attack me from high ground, but I will not care either way, since I told those dwarves to ignore this center and attack this one, and as a result I should be able to ignore a bit of high ground. And those guys didn't move on high ground either, so it's all good in the neighborhood. And I actually dealt a critical damage as well. That is actually pretty lucky. And as you can see, the centers are obviously focusing on my devils, most likely because my devils are inherently weaker than my Tenai walkers. I'll still continue making devils, just because, well, Tenai walkers are very awesome. But they also cost a lot of industry, and they're not as mobile as devils. And honestly, I like devils acting as my meat shield and cannon fodder. If I lose devils, I can make up for it very, very easily. If I somehow lose a Tenai walker, then that's a pretty big loss. Then again, the ability to stun the enemies, I'm not sure. I might actually think about going all in on Tenai walkers, because first of all they are amazing, secondly they are amazing. The only creepy thing about them is their butts, because they're kinda exposed and you can see everything that there is to see. I mean, it's kinda creepy. I guess if you have a pet you can get used to it, since pets also have those parts of the body exposed, so yeah, I guess it depends on how you see it. I don't know why I'm talking about this particular thing, honestly, I have no idea, no clue whatsoever. I guess this is the sign of me being tired. I'm saying things that I'm not fully aware of, because that's how my mind operates when it is running on exhaustion state. That didn't make any sense, grammatically speaking, or logically speaking either. Still, that just confirms my point. When I'm getting tired, I sometimes say down stuff. I'm still as excitable and... what's the other word I'm looking for? Excitable is a good enough word. I'm still excitable when I'm tired as when I'm fully aware and awake, but when I'm tired I simply get dumber than I usually am, which is a pretty big achievement, I have to say. I'm usually fairly dumb. I'm not the smartest person, unfortunately. I mean, there are some things where I'm fairly okay, but most of the time I'm pretty dumb. Anyway, let's not talk about how dumb I am, because I can instead make the city better. I just noticed that this population was walking in the street, which is not something I approve of. I'd rather walk on foot instead, and also go for some extra food production from the city, because it's necessary. Also, it doesn't have any borrowed streets. I would like to change that, and in fact getting access to those escaped specimens will be a fairly big improvement, and I can get borrowed streets for very cheap, because the first borrowed streets are very cheap to build, especially later down the line, later in the game, when you have a very big production all around. So yeah, going for borrowed streets is actually going to be cheaper than going for forest management, which would not be the case if the city already had a bunch of borrowed streets. Anyway, tech requires my attention. What do I want to go for next? I am what looks like to be 3 techs away. Yeah, 3 techs away from era 3. So those have to be tier 2 techs, by the way. I cannot go for tier 1 techs. I mean, I can research them, but they will not get me any closer to era 3, which I want to reach before the end of the series and before Endless Legend release. So yeah, there is that. So I can actually go for Peace Treaty and Alliance Treaty. I don't care about that though, I want to kill everybody. so that's a no-go. I could go for some extra food, which is a possibility. I could start transferring not dust, production to other areas, but I think food at this point is a pretty good idea. I can also... Unlocking the mercenaries section of the marketplace is also a pretty good idea, and in fact I'm going to go for it first because my marketplace is still not unlocked and I might be able to find some very interesting mercenaries, and I want to show you that some mercenaries can actually be very important and vital to your army, because sometimes you just are unable to get the kind of unit you want. For example, let's say you play as Wild Walkers and you do not have any flying units or cavalry, and you do not fight flying units or cavalry anyway, yet you need those two types of units in order to fight some particular type of enemy for a quest or something, right? That's how mercenaries can help you. You can just hire what you need, and those guys are usually fairly good as well. They often have some kind of level ups. Sometimes they have a ridiculous amount of level ups, more than you could normally gather. I mean, that's what I've seen happen like once or twice only, but it did happen. I've seen people with considerable amount of levels on them. So mercenaries are the kind of tech that you want to go for, regardless of the faction that you play as. And the more dust. I guess after a bunch of quests I got from ruins before, now I will just continue getting dust. But that's fine, I need this dust. And oh, Jotus we have encountered, that's very nice. They have been renamed to Etin from what I've seen in the bestiary, or monster manual, whatever you wanna call it. But as you can see, they used to be called Jotus. So they're kinda like werewolves mixed with D&D Etins, so they have two heads, but they're kind of werewolfy. And just because of this, I really love them, because I love everything that is even remotely related to wolves or werewolves or anything. But then again, it means that we're less likely to get a faction of lycanthropes, which I was really hoping for. Maybe a faction of ravens. That would be awesome. And by the way, no VIP knows what the unannounced two factions are. We know about for example, there's the faction. There's no idea, so I think I can spoil that there's the faction that will be called Ardent Mages. So we know about this faction, but nobody knows about two different factions that will be added later. One VIP says he does know about it. Apparently he used an extensive amount of alcohol and made a developer tell him all the secrets about the remaining factions. Honestly, I have my doubts if that's true, and even if it is true, then the other VIP refuses to give the information and says he doesn't remember it. Yeah, very likely, isn't it? Yeah, I got you figured out, boy. I got you figured out. Anyway, this city, what does it need? I guess I'll just let it finish force management, but what it also needs is more defenders. I mean, there's plenty of necro drones, and I can deal with them quite easily if I get some more ranged units. So I'll do just that. In fact, I can buy out two of them at once, which will be helpful. Keep in mind, if the city is attacked, I only have one district in it, so the city will most assuredly be conquered by an army of 6 necro drones. I mean, look at those guys, they are very intimidating. And if AI was any smarter, they would have attacked my city already, and most assuredly they would have taken it as well. But anyway, what I can do right now is just move this army more or less where I need it to reinforce this area. And that's about it. There's actually one more army that requires my attention. Oh, it's this one. So those broken lords actually declared war on me, so I need to punish them for that, and I will gladly do so. And I'll also introduce you to their cavalry, but as I said, I actually have introduced you to the riders before, but they are fairly meh. They don't have anything special going for them. Star Wars, on the other hand, are quite intimidating. I would consider them to be better than most of other your average lineman, infantry, troopman thingy. You know what I'm trying to say. And well, unupgraded Devers are better than unupgraded Star Wars, but I think that once you go into upgrades, Devers are not necessarily as useful. And also I just realized I only have one Dever guarding this whole line of ranged units. I should not have attacked, because I'm going to get horribly murdered. The way I see it, there's no real other way. What I can do is hope to actually convince the enemy to get stuck over here. That's unlikely. You know, let's protect at least one ranged unit, if at all possible. And I guess I'll move this ranger slightly forward. No, I'll move him backwards, and if my initiative is fast, then I'll tell him to move forwards and then open fire. But other than that, I want to stay as far away from the enemy as humanly possible. So let's do just that. Move this guy over there and let's ready up. Let's see what the initiative is. Fairly lackluster, but I generally speaking have my initiative first. So everybody just hold your ground. I do not want you to move at all, including the Delvers in fact. I forgot to press hold your ground when starting the battle. Now let's have a quick look. You have your turn first, but you do have a right target, so that's good. Those guys, they have the turn fairly quickly and they do not have a right target, which is fairly annoying. I could move them forward, I don't want to do so, they'll just have to waste their turn. Whatever. Those guys also don't have a right target, but they can move forwards, and they will. Hey, dude. Maybe if I select this action, they will want to move? No, they do not want to move for some reason. Oh, now they did, that's better. Okay, that was a strange little issue, but it was resolved. Then those guys have an action, but by that time they should be able to fire at the enemy. So I think I'm ready when it comes to issuing orders. Those guys were there from the first salvo, no doubt about this. Star Wars, never mind. As I said, Star Wars are really intimidating, and they actually survived the salvo. And I'm going to sing in yet another salvo from my archers, which is very, very bad. Suboptimal in the best of scenarios, and just flat out horrible in the worst. And I'm not overly concerned about the riders, but in this scenario when I pretty much only have ranged units, even the riders are actually going to be fairly effective. But look at those Star Wars, they take like no damage whatsoever from my arrows. That is the power of Star Wars. I mean, sure, infantry is pretty good and it's designed to fight against ranged units, but those Star Wars are regardless very, very dangerous. And if I kill both Star Wars before they can attack me, which will actually not happen, I will not be able to kill both of them before they attack me, but I will be able to kill the other stack before it attacks me. So only one stack will defeat its full damage. And Star Wars are not really very good when it comes to damage. They are just... The thing that makes Star Wars so useful is the fact that they have a very nice combination of good life, good defense and good attack. They're not the best in all of those, but I'll classify them as something better than just jack of all trades, because they're too good to be considered a jack of all trades, if you know what I mean. Anyway, the last Star Wars is going to die at the hands of my Delver, but unfortunately I'm now being flanked and I'm just going to lose this army outright. Fairly annoying, but there isn't much I can do about it. Unfortunately, I'm fighting a war against, as I said, pretty much everybody except one faction. So this army is utterly dead. I'm going to retreat ever so slightly, so the enemy has to walk forwards in order to kill me, and I'll still be able to attack the enemy. And after a retreat, I assume my archers will attack the most damaged unit, which will be the Star Wars, and I do want to finish off the Star Wars if possible, because I fear them much more than I fear the riders. So yeah, as I figured out, AI is going to focus fire on the Star Wars. Please give me a critical strike. If I get a lucky critical strike, I will still lose this battle, but I will deal considerable more damage. Considerable amount of damage rather, and I should be able to at least inflict some heavy casualties upon the enemy, and they will have to pay for this victory. But it looks like, yeah, I'll get obliterated. My archers just almost all got wiped out, not all of them, but most of them, and then another squadron is probably going to get killed. No, not entirely. Riders are really bad. I'm pretty sure any other cavalry in this game would have been able to wipe out my archers in first attack. So yeah, that just goes to show that riders are not the best. They do have charge ability, which works just like in Heroes of Might and Magic. The more they move before attacking, the more damage they deal. But even with this ability, they are fairly weak. Just like champions in Heroes of Might and Magic, honestly. I never was a big fan of champions in any of the Heroes games, because they are good when they charge, which basically means that they are good during one action in the entire battle, and then they are fairly bad. So that's that. Anyway, in this game it's slightly different. In this game, those guys are just bad in general in my eyes. But I most likely lost this battle, and I will not be able to kill another rider. I did kill all the Star Wars, which is something, but I lost a lot of units as a result. And it feels like I also was the better equipped guy, so it was an even bigger loss for me, considering the fact that I lost a lot of equipment as well. I don't remember if those particular units had any improved equipment. Oh yeah, they were Rangers number 4, so they had some pretty good gear on them, so that's pretty bad. But I can deal with that, I guess. That's not the end of the world. I will now need to create another ambient sending down south, but it's still okay-ish. And as you can see, the Broken Lords and the Necrophages and the neutral armies are all converging to my location. This quest is actually really annoying because it doesn't allow me to attack what I want to attack when I want to attack it. Anyway, I'm going to go into yet another battle, which is very annoying. I was kind of hoping to show you a bit more Empire Management, which I know you've seen before, but I mostly want to go into Empire Management so that I can actually go ahead and attack some more enemies by making some more armies. And hopefully destroy some more of the enemy cities so they can stop pestering me with those endless swarms of everything and BS. But it's okay. So those two Tenai Walkers, that's how they're called, right? Tenai Walkers, yeah, that's how they're called. They should be able to dispatch the enemy quite easily, especially if I focus fire on particular groups of Necrodrones, which is what I intend to do. So you focus on those guys, you support them. I only have not too many archers. But if, as I said, I focus fire on all of those units, I should do quite well. In fact, you know what? I'm going to move my units like so. And you go to this tile. I don't want to walk too far forward because then my devils might get surrounded by all units and just get killed before they can do anything worthwhile. So this guy didn't do anything. As I said before, giants are fairly slow, definitely not the fastest of units. That's the only real downside, but most of the time I'm willing to pay this downside because of their amazing other abilities. It looks like this guy, instead of walking to here, decided to attack this enemy by walking to the low ground, which is not what I expected, and it is actually going to penalize me quite a lot. I can live with that, but it's fairly annoying. It kind of ruins my strategy, and I might actually lose my Tenai Walker, which is the problem I was talking about before. If I lose this guy, this is actually a very, very big loss for me, because those guys cost a lot of resources. Not only industry, but also titanium and glass steel. I figured it's one of the unimproved guys, because I only recently started making improved version of those guys, but still, it is a big loss, and I am actually going to lose this guy. He's just getting overwhelmed with Necrodrones, and even as something as big as the Tenai Walker would not survive this onslaught of enemies. And this looks pretty bad, actually, all of a sudden. Sure, I still have all my ranged units, and my other Tenai Walker has most of his health, but my Doers just did the dumbest move of all. They decided to walk into low ground, attack, and allow themselves to get surrounded. And I think I'm going to lose this fight, or at least it's going to be very, very close. I was able to kill one of the Necrodrones and another stack just now, but the enemy still has 4 stacks. Most of them have most of the health still. And while one of those stacks is stunned, but the other stacks are doing very well. And as you can see, yeah, the stunned stacks cannot actually act at all, which is why Tenai Walkers are so very useful. But I just lost my Delvers, and I still have one other unit stack of Delvers, so it's not the worst thing ever. But I really need to focus fire on the enemies and make sure that they all die. And in fact, those Delvers I want to move over there, so they intercept enemies that will probably try to come through and attack my archers. So let's do something along those lines. Those Delvers should still be able to attack the enemy. Yeah, they will make a stop on this tile, attack the enemy, and then they'll continue moving to this tile to defend it. So that's good. Now my Tenai Walker is going to deal some damage to this stack, and now it is going to also be finished off by my Rangers. And those Rangers are going to move close into the position, which is fine. Right now there's no way for those Necrodrones to actually move in and attack my Rangers in a single turn. They can get fairly close, but I think my Rangers are fairly safe for the time being, so there isn't much I need to worry. Oh wow! Yeah, they actually... my Delvers were actually killed, which means that my Walker Rangers are now getting attacked. And all of a sudden I think I'm actually going to lose this fight. My Tenai Walker, as amazing as it is... oh, actually he got a very nice critical strike, so maybe there's hope for me? But my Rangers are firing at the wrong target now. Then again, this guy's stunned, so I don't need to worry about him at all. So I do not want to actually fire at him, but yeah, my Tenai Walker just fell. And those guys fired the wrong target as well. They should have fired this guy because this guy was actually able to attack me this turn, so that's fairly bad. And oh, my Rangers just died right now, so this is bad. I can kill another Necrodrone, but that's about it. Yeah, as I said, those Necrodrones are really scary, and because my initiative is fairly low right now, I'm just going to die outright. I will kill this drone for... No, I actually didn't even kill it. That's really quite sad and scary. Wow, that was a very big army I threw at it as well. But those Necrodrones were just able to overwhelm me. They are very powerful. What do I want to do in this scenario? Well, first of all, I'm thinking about going all out on the Dredgers. Or actually, I'm not even going to bother with Dredgers anymore. I tried them. Right now, I'd much rather spend all my resources on making 10 walkers and supporting them with Rangers. I'm half tempted to give Rangers some armor, so they can survive one hit, but then again, I need to spend all my resources on 10 walkers. Those walkers are the backbone of my army. They need to be alive. Then again, I have quite an extensive, quite a lot of glass steel left, so I think I might give those guys some glass steel cuirass. Sure, it costs a lot, and those guys are not meant to take any hits, but considering the fact that I'm fighting a lot of range units, this might be what I need. No, let's just save up my glass steel. I think it's a smarter idea. Also, it's costs a little bit of production, which I cannot afford at this point in time. So, move everything I can into production since I desperately need it. Barrow Streets, sorry, but you are on a lower priority right now. I desperately need a 10 walker and more rangers. And all of a sudden, all my fronts collapsed. I do not have any more armies. I do have 5 units in my other city, which I will gladly send towards the enemy, since I'll need to defend my city if at all possible. But that's just 1 walker, 3 rangers, and a dredge. So, I will actually be able to finish those guys off, but that's my last army that I have that is actually capable of legitimately killing things. And that's it, and more enemies are walking my way, which is also fairly scary. Barrow Streets were nice, but I think it's time now to actually go for something more serious. How much time do I have on Dustwater? 3 more turns, so it would be a shame not to use this Dustwater bonus, but then again, I actually really need to work on my industry right now. I don't need dredgers, I don't know why I queued them up. Oh, the reason why is because I no longer have the titanium in order to make my ranged units. Unless I do something like that, then I will be able to make 1 more ranger, and then I will run out of titanium. Alright, so this city is going to... 5 happiness? How? Oh right, it's actually a very big city, so that's why it only has 5 happiness. I'm really happy this happiness is bugged right now, because this city is supposed to be giving me a lot of problems. Anyway, this 10 walker was supposed to be my reserve, but I think I'm just going to send it to the front line and let that be it. And this guy, it's a cavalry. I don't think he would do anything to me though. I think it will be fun. More than anything, I need the standing walker to reinforce the front line because it is collapsing quite rapidly. Let's end the turn, see what the AI decides to do. I may have to negotiate with one of those guys for a peace treaty. And even more enemies spawn. Seriously, the fact that those enemies keep spawning is the reason why I'm doing so poorly. Because those guys were meant to stop spawning a long time ago, and I was supposed to be given my racial technology a long time ago as well. So that's fairly annoying. I guess I'll just auto-battle this fight because there's much I can do. I was able to go for a draw, and I wasn't able to kill anything. I'm not sure if that would happen, otherwise I'm pretty certain that I would have been able to kill one of those guys. But sure, a draw is something that I will take, and I guess I would retreat back to my home city now, because apparently I'm not welcome here. Fairly annoying, but that's okay, I guess. Anyway, another battle between me and the Necrodrones. It can wait, and right now I have some more Empire management to do. This city is working as hard as it can to pump out more units, so I'll just purchase another ranger right away, so I can use it if I need to. GG No Rare is doing its best, and it's not under an imminent threat of assault right now, but there are probably voters going to recapture Quag, and I'm tempted to just salt the earth. How long would that take? 2 turns. Let's start working on assaulting the earth. Why not? And while I'm at it, let's actually move my population to work on dust for a little bit longer, so I also gain some extra dust from the city while it still exists. I can castle raising the city in the next turn if I need to do so, but I want this to be a possibility for me so that If I see that this army is something I cannot handle, I'll just ban the city to the ground, so the enemy cannot have it. Anyway, let's fight this battle. It should be fairly one-sided. I'm not sure why the enemy attacked me, but maybe just want to keep the pressure and make sure they can damage as many units as possible. That looks scary. For a second I thought the enemy is actually going to attack me. But no, those guys are actually not my real enemy. So, those rangers go over here. This Thunder Walker is going to go up this hill, because hey, why not? And rangers walk forward. Actually, this is a risk. If the enemy has good enough initiative, they will be able to attack me instantly. So let's move backwards, and if I have a good initiative, then I can walk forwards. And I do have a good initiative. Very good initiative, in fact. So, and I forgot to actually go for hold the ground on all my units. So that happened. It's okay though. So first of all, my Tenor Walker is definitely going to walk onto this ground, and my Dares, they will be on low ground, but I need them to block this passageway to my Rangers at all cost. So do that. Those guys have the range to attack Necro drones, that's fine. Those guys do not, but if I give them the order, they will walk forwards and they will attack this guy as well. And this guy should be very much so dead, and I'm not worried about the guy with little health, because I'm pretty sure my units will focus fire on him if I kill the other guys. So this will be fine. So actually, it looks like Tenor Walker is actually going to do it himself. Wow, way too overkill, dude. Way too overkill. That's not what you are meant to do at all, but I guess I'll take it since I don't really have anything to say in the matter. So anyway, those guys have a lot of range. Hold it, that's more than 3 hexes actually. That's 4 hexes. I could swear that the ranger's range was always 3 hexes. So either it could change, or maybe it's one of my equipment types or something, I don't know. But I'm definitely not going to complain about the fact that they have 4 range. I lost my Delvos, unfortunately. Not a very big loss, but still it's a bit of meteor that I will no longer be able to use. But as I said, I will not cry after this loss. It's mostly the Tenor Walkers I focus on. You know what I actually think I need right now? I mean, I'm not too sure, because against flyers, the best thing are rangers, and I've got rangers right now. Actually, what is this army that I can see right here? I don't know, I don't really want to find out. I just did. It's cavalry. I could attack it, I would rather wait for reinforcements on my units, honestly. So let's move backwards a little bit more. So what do I really need? I don't need another infantry. I'm thinking about cavalry, but cavalry would only be... well, it would help me against some of those guys, for example. It would also roam faster, so it would be able to block the enemy flyers more efficiently. Cavalry wouldn't be the worst bet ever, but I don't really have access to cavalry, and neither of the minor factions at the squad also is capable of doing that. So once I unlock the mercenary market, I'll probably buy out some cavalry units if I'll have the money for it, because keep in mind those guys are fairly expensive. And guess what? Another battle. But I think I'll be able to win this one fairly easily. Let's go into auto battle and see what happens. Yeah, no units lost. I took some damage, but it's okay. As I said, in this game the auto battle is actually extremely fair, and I can definitely applaud the game developers for doing that. So let's move to the city and let's actually stay in it for a while. Let my Tenor Walkers heal up, because I definitely want them to be at full health. And looks like the enemy is actually not going to burn to attack my city, so I can stop the burning act. I'll be ready to burn my city later on if necessary, but right now I don't have to do just that. I cannot go for a Tenor Walker because I lack the titanium. So what I'll do is I'll retrofit the carry ranger, and I'll take away the accessory from him, because I cannot afford to spend titanium at this point in time. I could give this guy some extra defense, but nah, I don't think it's necessary. I'll just save up more resources on him. So now I'll be able to make rangers for free, by which I mean without using any of the special resources. So I'll make 1 ranger to defend this city. This city barely has any production, so it wouldn't be able to make enough units to defend itself well anyway. I could go for another titanium extractor, and this would be good. This would be really good, actually. I really need this titanium extractor. And I can buy it out. So I'll do this as soon as I have a quick look at mercenaries, and there are no mercenaries available to hire. Really? I guess it is possible that the AI has been hiring all the mercenaries, and I'm just very unlucky in this regard. I guess that's what happened. Usually there are mercenaries that you can hire, and now there are none. Fairly annoying. Anyway, let's rush the titanium extractor. I will need it. And since it looks like the enemy is going to leave the city alone, that's yet another reason to go for the extractor. Anyway, how are you healing up? Fairly slowly. I'll let those guys heal up for a little bit longer. Meanwhile, Capital working on mining rights. Afterwards, I'll probably go ahead and make some more rangers. How is Gino Ray doing? It's doing okay. Yeah, it's doing just fine. I think there's not much else to do. Then compute 10 and continue skipping to the next one. Got population growth in what? I think it was over here. Yeah, it most assuredly was. So, what do I want to do over here? I actually have yet another titanium extractor, which I could make and I should, and that's exactly what I will, in fact, do. I can also go for some more basic structures that I should have had already, like empowerment, which is just flat out really useful for me in my position, especially since I have assimilated devers. I normally would have also gone for sewer system, but since approval was bugged, I will not. Since it will actually give extra influence when I clearly do not deserve it, so let's not do that. Instead, what I'll do is, well, right now I'm working on public library. There's much else I need to work on. And where did my quest go? Alright, I will try to finish the quest again. If it doesn't work, then I'll just say that it's a bug and move on with my life. Actually, in 110 I'll have another 10 walker, so that's when I'll attack those neutral armies. It will be fairly difficult to kill both of them in just 3 turns, but I guess they'll move closer to my city. It's most likely what is going to happen. You know, this 10 walker can quite easily kill this cavalry, and then again, cavalry is actually fairly good against infantry units, and 10 ways and infantry. I would most assuredly win this fight, don't get me wrong, but I could take more damage than I would otherwise like. Then again, this guy can stun. He can stun, and the stun will make him win, but I wasted all my movement points, so it's too late to test it now. Oh well. Sorry for the cough. So, oh, the enemy actually attacked me by himself. That's very nice, and he's dead very, very easily. Yep, exactly what I expected to happen. You do want to attack a 10 walker one-on-one, because he will stun you and he will then just kill you no matter who you are, because stun is a very powerful ability. Alright, looks like the enemy will actually allow me to kill him. That's very considerable of him, thank you. And actually, is my hero doing anything? No, he's not assigned to a single city. And I just moved to Miami even though I didn't want to, so that's very annoying. So what do I want to do with my hero? You know what, considering the fact that there are more Necrophages coming, I will assign him to my army. Since I'll possibly need some more support and I'll need to attack the enemy as much as possible. And that's a big battle. I guess this will be the battle that I'll showcase at the end of this videocast, because it's fairly long already. And quite frankly, I'm really tired and I need to go to bed. So that's exactly what I'll do. Alright, the enemy has the high ground advantage, so by all means I want him to come to me. So I'll do just that. I'll fall back slightly. And then I'll tell my 10 walkers to walk a little bit forward so that I have the high ground advantage. In fact, I'll move this 10 walker over here. Those guys cannot attack any of my units except for my hero, so I'll move my hero over there so I can flank the enemy per se. That's not really a flank, not by the long shot, but it's better than having my hero over there. And it looks like I've got a pretty good... what's it called? Initiative as well, so I can do fairly well. This 10 walker is basically dead, which is fairly annoying. Now those guys can make it to my 10 walker as well, so that is a bit of a bummer. So let's see, there is no high ground advantage for the enemy over there, so I can move over here. Actually, yeah, there is not. I cannot move over here, however, so I will not do that. I'll instead move over here and try to blockade the enemy. As for the rangers, you just try and focus fire on those guys, and the other group is going to focus fire on this guy. And I think this should be more or less okay. Those 10 walkers should be able to hold the enemy at sort for some time. They will take... Oh, I forgot! High ground! That's why I didn't move here to begin with. But those are 10 walkers. They thankfully do not care too much about quests and minor faction units. So it's still okay. Look at how little damage I take. Yeah, those units, they are from a quest that started a very, very long time ago, so obviously they are very, very weak, because they are meant to be weak. This quest was not supposed to be tough, it just keeps renewing itself for some reason. So that's the only reason why I'm having some problems with it. I will probably lose this Tenant Walker. I mean, Discovery does have the high ground advantage, so... And my Tenant Walker cannot even retaliate, but I actually took no damage whatsoever, interestingly enough. Huh. I wonder why. There's an explanation to that, I'm sure, but I don't know what it is right now. Yeah, this Tenant Walker just does not care about anything that is happening. He's like, you want to damage me? Are you serious? So yeah, I feel very safe and secure. And this Rambler, he will do some damage, but not a lot. I mean, 4 damage is nothing, but all things considered. So now I'll just need to pick away the last remaining forces for the enemy. Nice and easy, they are all going to die. And my Rangers will happily finish all of the survivors. This cavalry unit will probably be able to charge at me, but that's about it. It will not be able to do anything else. So yeah, that's going to attack my last Tenant Walker, but this is just one last guy standing. He will not be able to kill my guy off. I will not retaliate though, which is fairly annoying, but my Rangers will finish the job for me. So that's probably the end of this battle. Yes, indeed it is. The enemy is dead and the victory is mine. Very nice. Unfortunately, my units are quite severely damaged, so when the Necro drones come, I'll be in a pretty bad spot. And I'll probably not be able to fulfill my quest again, but whatever. I do not want to fall back to a city, however, because then my hero would get unassigned again. So let's just pull back a little bit so that the Necrodrones cannot attack me immediately in one turn, no matter what. They do not have this much movement points. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it was PANCZASU, also known as the Mighty Mixed Bomber. If you somehow managed to enjoy my videocast, then please by all means like it. Maybe even leave a comment, because I do enjoy them quite a lot. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you online.